1498, a year that changed the direction of the world. On the western coast of India, near Calicut, a Portuguese ship appeared through the mist. The air smelled of salt, wind, and destiny. At the bow stood one man, Vasco da Gama, his eyes fixed on the horizon, his heart burning with purpose. He wasn't just seeking spices or trade. He was seeking a doorway, a path to a land whispered about in royal courts, a land of wealth, wisdom, and wonder. For centuries, India had existed in the minds of Europeans like a dream, the land of gold, silk, and stories. Kings longed for it. Sailors died searching for it. And on that fateful morning of May 20th, 1498, that dream became real. After months of storms, hunger, and peril, Vasco da Gama finally reached the shores of Calicut. The local fishermen who saw those foreign sails had no idea that they were witnessing the dawn of a new world. When Vasco da Gama stepped onto Indian soil, he didn't just reach a shore, he shifted the axis of history. India then was radiant, a civilization overflowing with science, art, medicine, and philosophy. Trade flowed like poetry, from the Malabar coast to Arabia, from Bengal to China. But the man who came to trade would open the floodgates of conquest. Behind every ship that carried spices, soon came ships that carried soldiers. Behind every merchant's smile came a soldier's command, and behind every trade agreement came an empire's shadow. Vasco da Gama's journey was not just a discovery, it was the first ripple of a storm. A storm that brought the Dutch, the French, and finally the British. They came in the name of exploration and faith, but their hearts beat with greed and power, and thus began a new chapter, the chapter of India's awakening through struggle. Where once the seas carried stories of commerce, they now carried echoes of chains and resistance. Ports turned into battlefields. Trade became war. The same ocean that had brought prosperity now reflected flames of suffering. But history has a strange way of teaching. Every conquest awakens a spirit. Every fall plants a seed of strength. Yes, Vasco da Gama's arrival marked the dawn of foreign rule, but it also marked the beginning of India's long march towards self-realization. From Calicut to Goa, from Surat to Bombay, the winds of change began to whisper, reminding this ancient land that true power lies not in weapons, but in knowledge, unity, and soul. That voyage in 1498 was not the end of exploration. It was its transformation. Now it is we who explore, we who define the routes, we who shape the tides. When Vasco da Gama touched Indian soil, he could not have known he was standing on a civilization far older than his own, a land whose roots ran deep in wisdom, philosophy, and spirit, a land whose soul could not be conquered, only misunderstood. Today, when we look back, we must not see that moment as just an invasion or an arrival. We must see it as a mirror, a reflection of our pain, our pride, our loss, and our awakening. Because history is not a museum, it is a living flame, and that flame reminds us, no empire, no flag, no ship can ever sink the spirit of a civilization that knows who it is. When Vasco da Gama crossed the ocean, he discovered the path to India. But India discovered something far greater, its eternal awakening. History is not just remembered, it is reborn in every generation that chooses to see.